Hello, sir. Hello.
You're doing a fine job.
Doing a fine job. Carry on. I'm just walking the perimeter as I do. It's another fucking dead end, motherfucker. Right. That's the end of Warden Mode. I mean, I suppose we could always just like, fuck you, motherfuckers! I'm building a door right here. I don't care whether it ruins our security or not.
You there, build a door here.
You there. In fact, I'm going to spawn some workmen. Build my fucking door, you bastards. I desire to get out of here.
We've been away for a long time, haven't we? We should probably have said, like, we're back!
Hello.
just like, I was watching...
It's like, where the fuck have you guys been? What have you been doing?
Where have you been? Well, I was watching the Grand Tour. Have you seen it? The new series, season 2. Grand Tour. And, he starts off, he explains how they've all been in hospital. But they're older than us,
Oh, yeah.
You and I are old men. But compared to those guys...
Those guys are totally, they're way past it. I mean, seriously.
We're young guys. But, I don't know how long it's been since we made a video, 6 months or so. So we've probably got loads of new fans, new people have been born, new people are playing Prison Architect. There it is in the background, in attract mode. Ooh.
It's a game that just keeps on growing, isn't it?
It keeps on doing.
Exactly. It seems to just bring in new audiences all the time. Like every day, more people are buying it and playing it.
100 bought it yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
100 people.
100 copies sold on Steam yesterday. I mean,
wow.
We sort of get a little bit.
That's $3,000, mate.
Yeah.
That's really good.
But I know you're heartless, callous.
That's $1,500 into your pocket and $1,500 into my pocket.
Yeah. If only, mate. If only. I mean, I know that's all you care about.
Yeah.
Scrooge McDucking your way into your coin, your dungeon full of all your gold coins. But
it's always been about the money for me, mate. Always.
I care about the 100 people currently sat there now. And, this video is going to go up in a few days and they're going to go, holy shit, I only bought this a few days ago and now I'm getting an update.
Yeah, well, we can hope. I think it's a nice tradition, isn't it? Doing a couple of updates a year or thereabouts, I think.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Is this attract mode?
Yes, this is attract mode, mate. This is like, it's like a running joke, isn't it, with a Prison Architect that we've never had a main menu, We've like the game just starts up in an empty prison with no hint about what to do, and you have to press escape to get the main menu up, and then click on new prison, even though there's a new prison already running. So for the longest time, people have been. It's the reason why it's a running joke is people in Steam. You know how sometimes comments can be a little bit nasty.
Sometimes
people are like, what the fuck, man? How the fuck are these guys half past? What do you mean these guys there isn't even a fucking main menu? How can you release a game without a fucking main menu?
Yeah. There's a lot of anger sometimes, isn't there?
There is, yeah. People take it very personally, don't they? It's like, how dare you, How dare you say a game's finished when you don't have a main menu? Well, now we have an attract screen. So when the game launches, it goes into this attract screen. And it
Chris Lark present attract mode.
Yeah, and what it does is if you've got any recent save games, it loads up your recent save games and it just kind of pans around and it just highlights interesting things that are happening.
Yeah, it's nice.
Because there's always loads of cool shit happening in prisons. Even when it latches on to like a random sleeping prisoner who's clearly not doing anything, I still find it kind of fascinating, Because it's just like prison life, It's like what's happening to all these people. Yeah. And then, you press escape like before and the menu pops up or you click the mouse or whatever. And then you're back to the main menu
back
again.
To, that comfortable, old, slightly worn around the edges blanket.
Yeah.
It's a bit smelly, but there's nothing like it.
Well, there's a lot of stuff in our main menu these days. We wouldn't actually want to change the real main menu. I always liked the main menu. I think people's objection was that the game just dropped you into, the game just kind of like started up like this, didn't it? This is what previously happened.
Yeah.
And it was like, fuck you.
What are you going to do?
I don't give a shit, man. I don't give a shit. We're launching version 1. No, we're launching version 2. Fuck you. We don't play by your rules.
We only play by our own rules. Right. What's next?
Good. Right. Shall we have a look at a brand new game mode?
Yes. Ooh.
So, you go to create new prison, right? And here's our create new prison screen. And in the list of options, you'll see a new option, Warden Mode.
Ooh.
Play as the warden working on site on the prison you are building. Right?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going
Right.
to tick that little bastard.
Okay.
Right? And we can pick from these wardens. This is who we're going to be, right? These are our wardens. They've been here for a while.
Yeah.
We have the bog standard warden, or we have all of our ultra hardcore supporter wardens, don't we? So let's be him. Let's be the lobbyist.
The lobbyist.
Now I'm going to click play. All right. So the game begins as normal, right? But this is us, right? I can walk around using my W, A, S, and D keys.
Yeah, good.
Here comes my little workman.
Yeah.
Right? And the game kind of plays out. Initially, seems quite similar, right? So all the same things are true. All the things that normally happen are here. All the toolbars are normally here.
Yeah, okay.
And already we're being told that we would like to have an office of our own, obviously, because the first thing that we're going to build is an office.
We need to, yeah.
It's a bit ghetto, isn't it?
We can't work in the baking heat, can we not? We're the warden. What will people think?
Exactly. So our workman will spring into action, and whilst that's happening, I can build some pathways. So you see how my guy kind of looks where I'm pointing, like...
Oh, yeah.
So the controls are kind of the same. The controls are kind of the same, but, we're physically here. And I've tried this on a few prisons, and it's quite interesting. It's like, if you start a new prison... You build it very differently when you're in this mode, because this is as far out as you can zoom, right?
Right, yeah. I was going to ask that about moving the camera.
No, you don't. You can't move the camera. This is your view of the prison, right? So this is the extent of it. And in fact, you can actually see, what's behind this building is not always visible to us,
Right,
because
right.
It's obstructed by fog of war.
Or a shadow.
Yeah, well, it's the fog of war effect. So a lot of these, you'll recognise a lot of this from... escape mode.
Yeah.
Let's build ourselves a power station. Oh, it looks kind of weird, doesn't it? We're walking
it
around in
does.
The void of utilities mode.
That's right. Some kind of horrible dystopian nightmare. He looks brilliant as well, doesn't he? You make sure you put up on screen who that is.
Yeah, absolutely. I will do.
Who came up with that?
Yeah. Let's see. So, all right. So we have our office. So. What's the point of this mode? So if let's try and jump forward a little bit and load a more complete prison, shall we? Because if you build the prison like this, you build your prison as normal in this mode, but because you're embodied, pathways become a lot more important, and routes around your prison become a lot more important that you can walk through.
Yeah.
And you kind of build quite a different mental map of the prison because you're viewing it from quite a different place. Let's try and go to here. I'm going to load a prison that's kind of already exists, like this one, say. And I'm going to go to here.
Cookieville Penitentiary.
Yeah, so this is a finished prison.
Right.
And you can see that it's quite a different experience because it's kind of like walking around in escape mode, right? In the sense that your view of the prison is very narrow indeed. This is all we can actually see, right? But there's 118 prisoners on site at this prison.
Right.
And at the first opportunity, they'll stick a knife in us, right? So, for example, say we had to do some upgrades to the maximum security wing. That's going to be a dangerous place to go. Right?
Yeah, can you sort of assign a couple of guards to be your protection team?
Very good idea. Let's try it. So what you can do is you can press tab and you switch into this sort of action mode or something, I guess. It's like your inventory. You can toggle between these two modes. And this is kind of akin to the escape mode view when this is what you're carrying in your hands.
Right, okay, yeah. A clipboard. Clipboard and fists.
All right, there we go.
Brilliant.
There's our clipboard. Right, in fact, when we look at our report screen like this, when we're looking at reports for the prison, your little guy gets this clipboard out while he's doing it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, brilliant.
So it's like running the entire prison when you have to kind of keep the whole prison in your mind's eye, in this mode.
Yeah.
So if I go to him, I can right click on you and he goes...
Sir, yes, sir.
All right, now we've got a little bodyguard following us around.
Yeah, okay. I feel a bit safer now.
Yeah, a little bit safer. And I think probably, though, what we actually want is... Let's see.
What's that red bar?
Oh, that's so. When you press Shift to run, right, that's your like energy bar. So if you want to get around a little bit quicker, you can hold down the Shift key to run.
But because you're a big fat warden that spent all his days on his fat ass, you haven't got a lot of running, I would imagine.
Yeah, right. Let's get some of these guys. There you go. Some armed guards.
Yeah, that's what we want.
So it costs quite a lot of money to have a personal posse following you around.
Yeah, of course it does.
I mean, those guards are normally, I think it doubles their cost, or does it even triple their cost? I can't remember.
Does it? Right.
So that armed guard costs the prison $1,700 a day.
Because they have to be paid like unpleasant work allowance because they have to spend so much time in your company.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they're kind of like specialists, though, aren't they? You know, like specialists.
Yeah.
Like they don't behave like normal guards anymore. You know, they won't go running into fights and stuff. They're there to protect you. And
they grab you by the scruff of your neck and shove your head down into their crotch in the car.
Exactly.
Get down, sir. Get down.
Yeah, so it's quite different. So you might have noticed, like in the create new prison option under Warden Mode, there was this perma-death option, right? So the perma-death option, if you tick that option, you're a maniac. And what it basically means is if you die, then the prison ends. That's it.
Right.
The prison just stops. It goes to a black and white freeze frame mode at the moment of your death. And it's very interesting because, I mean, permadeath always brings a lot of tension to the game. It always brings a lot of tension to any game because it can end so quickly. And particularly in Prison Architect, when legendary prisoners, for example, some legendary prisoners are pretty much capable of one-shotting anybody, right, with a punch at the right moment. So, you know, it becomes incredibly dangerous for you as a warden to go into certain areas of your prison. Particularly when the prison temperature is very high and there's a lot of inherent danger. I mean, we should probably have a bit of a
So
fight.
why would you want to do that? Just literally to enhance your experience?
No, because how else are you going to expand your maximum? Why would you want to go into the maximum security wing, you mean?
No, why would you want to play with permadeath turned on?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, why does anybody play with permadeath turned on in a game? I mean, interestingly, like permadeath is, I consider it to be kind of an indie invention. Like mainstream games had stopped doing permadeath because it was considered too harsh a punishment to levy on a player. And games like Uplink started coming along and saying, no, actually, you know what? Permadeath is really interesting because permadeath gives you the fear of losing the game instantly, which means the act of surviving the game is a lot richer. The act of actually not dying suddenly introduces a whole lot of extra tension to the game. I can remember for quite a long time, every first-person shooter in existence, of which I played most, went the way of, like, you just pressed F5 and it quick-saved. Yeah, so when you were about to turn a corner, you would just instinctively press F5 and quick-save. And then if you died, you would just press F6 and quick-load. Yeah. And it became a thing. And it just all tension and fear of survival was drained out of that entire genre for a really long time. Until some bright spark figured out that actually there's something to be said for genuinely having to risk your life when you need to go and make modifications to the maximum security wing, for example.
Yeah, I understand. So the most intense gaming experience you could possibly have necessarily has to involve permadeath, doesn't it?
Yes.
It has to, because
I would say so.
You know, whatever game experience you're having, if you had got through that and you'd been on permadeath, that experience would have been enhanced. It would have been better.
Yeah, well, think about Uplink, right? Uplink with, like, hacking a bank in Uplink is, like, the riskiest thing you can do.
Yeah.
And in the game, we don't allow... you can hack your save game, but permadeath exists in Uplink, and it's not even optional. If you get caught, it's instantly game over, and you might have been playing for, like, 10 hours. So the tension of that hack is through the roof, because you are risking everything on that game. Whereas if we'd allowed you to just, like... If the game just said you've been caught, and then you just let to load a save game from 10 minutes earlier, there would be no tension. Like, all tension would be gone. In fact, the entire game wouldn't work without it. And I would say other good examples would be DayZ, that took the first-person genre and made it multiplayer, which had been done before, but introduced this concept that you might be walking around the city for 20 hours building up your kit, building up your body armor, building up your weapons, and then you run into another player and you have an extremely tense exchange with another player. because they're armed and you're armed.
Yeah.
And if you die, that's it. You lose everything instantly. And you can be killed with one shot. And all the tension from DayZ comes from that. And so that's why permadeath exists. It's for some people and not others. If you don't have permadeath ticked, then you get knocked unconscious during a fight, and you get dragged to the infirmary, and you wake up in the infirmary, and you can carry on. Yeah, so not always. I mean, this prison's quite peaceful, so we're not really in much danger, and we've got some people walking around with us. But one of the things that people do often build in their prisons is armories, and if you build an armory, who are we to say that you, the warden, shouldn't be allowed to use it?
Well, of course you should be allowed to use it. You're the warden.
Exactly. So you can't just go around and pick up shotguns and stuff. That's ridiculous, right? I didn't actually want it to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
But you can, anything that you can sneak into your pockets, you can have, right? So you can have a pistol, or you can have a taser,
little six-shooter.
A little six-shooter, which is actually a liability, quite frankly. I mean, you get your six, and then you've had your six.
You've had your six.
What movie references that?
Living Daylights. Is it Living Daylights?
No, it's Dr. No, isn't it?
Is it? No, it's not. It's Roger Moore says it. No, or is it Sean Connery? No, you might be right.
Yeah,
I don't think it's Dr. No, though. I'm
Connery.
not sure it's the first one.
Definitely Connery.
Yeah.
So
that's Smith and Wesson.
You've
had your six.
You've had your six. Boom, boom. Cold, heartless. That was a different Bond.
Cold, heartless. It was.
So, so now, as well as our clipboard, we now have a baton, which is a much better weapon.
A baton? That's something cheerleaders twirl. You mean a baton?
A baton.
A baton.
Take
that, you cat!
A nightstick. A nightstick. And
do you know why they're called nightsticks?
Because you beat people up at night with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think
Is
it's
that really the reason?
I'm not sure which. Yeah, not that you beat people up, but you carried them at night. That was it. In the day they weren't carried, and they were carried at night, and so they were called nightsticks.
Well, why wouldn't you carry them during the day?
Well, that was the world then. The night was full of terrors and dark.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah. Well, it used to be the case that if you broke into someone's house during the day, you didn't burgle it in the UK. Burglars only occurred at night. Yeah.
How the fuck do you get into this prison? Like, where's the fucking door?
Well, that's reception.
Yeah, I know that's reception, but I can't see. There's no way.
This is why I'm always prepared. Always done your homework and your research.
Yeah, I didn't expect to be in a prison where I couldn't find the fucking way in.
Well, that's the point of a prison. It's a maze.
It's a maze. So you can't find the way out.
Yeah, can't escape.
So it's kind of like it's sort of based on escape mode. When you walk around as a prisoner, but it's quite different as Warden Mode because you're not the one that's always been hunted. You're able to exist in the prison and observe the prison running, and if fights break out and riots break out and stuff like that, you're able to participate in those fights. And just as if it was escape mode, but without having the entire armed guard quotient attacking you and trying to kill you and knock you out. You're kind of you're part of the good guys. Can you say that you're part of the good guys in Prison Architect?
I don't know if there are good guys and bad guys. Talking about escape mode, we should probably remind everybody that escape mode is coming to console next year.
Oh, well, that's a very good idea. That's an interesting point, yes.
011 are working their magic as we speak.
Yeah.
And they're going to deliver something truly fantastic.
Good old 011.
I'm not going to say when, because, things slip, don't they?
Yeah. You can't just go around punching people. Like, if you try, you get this self-defense unauthorized message, because you are the warden and you're not allowed to just go and walk up to a prisoner and smack him in the face with your baton, right? You can stand behind him.
Can you do
with your
that?
armed guards. You can turn free fire on so it looks even more serious.
Bard is not having any
Go on,
of
mate.
it.
Come on, mate.
He's off.
Try something if you think you're hard enough.
Can you batter them when no one's looking?
No, you can't batter them when no one's looking.
Oh, mate, you should have had batter when no one's looking.
No, you can't do that.
The next update, I'm mandating that we have batter when no one's looking.
That. But if you get attacked, then you go into defense mode. Like the game switches to this mode automatically, and then you're free to defend yourself in inverted commas. All right, and I do mean in inverted commas because at that point, you have to take what steps are necessary to defend yourself. And it doesn't. And once the trouble's over, the fight comes to an end.
You can't give an extra couple of punishment whacks.
Well, you mean distraction strikes?
No, punishment whacks. You can't put a distraction strike in at the end.
Of course you can. You have to distract them from waking up. If you want to distract your assailant from waking up, then or give a punishment strike to make him think twice about trying it again, then yes, as long as you do it quickly. But that's there are limits to what you can do as the warden. I didn't want to make it so you could just go around massacring all your prisoners. Also, all the punishments that exist for the failure in the prison, they still exist. So too many deaths in your prison, and it's game over anyway, just like it's always been. So there is a natural balancing factor on you against just going around rampaging through your prison. Right, moving on then.
What?
Let's load a different prison, shall we? Let's load. This is a nice one. I'm loading this one just because I had some weird bugs on this prison earlier, and I like it when weird bugs happen in our demos. It makes me feel comforted, It makes me feel.
But we're still not released a finished game.
Yeah, exactly. Even though you might have put a main menu in, this game ain't finished. This game's never going to be finished,
7 years you've been working on this now, mate. This is your opus.
I know. Art is never finished, mate. Art is simply taken away from the artist, right, or pushed away by the artist, whichever one happens first. There you go. That's my profound thought for the day.
Smells like bullshit.
Achoo! I'm kind of allergic to that kind of bullshit. Yeah. And on this prison, I'm going to demonstrate Leander's new feature.
Good man, Leander.
So Leander's done this thing. So on prisons like this, you often have issues with crowds of people all piling into one room in one direction. So say all the minimum security prisoners compiling into the canteen.
That's right, I've seen it 1,000 times, yeah.
Yeah, and at the same time, all the maximum security prisoners are all leaving the canteen at the same time through the same exit. And you get mass calamitous crowd collisions. Well, now you can do things about that. You can go to this deployment screen, and there's these two new buttons: prisoner directions and everyone else directions. Right? So they're like paint cans. Think of them as like paint cans.
Right.
So using these, I can draw preferred directions of travel on the ground. Right. Like
I love the artwork on that. That's inspired. Did Ryan do that?
No, that was Leander as well. Leander's entirely responsible for everything you see.
Leander's more than signs.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? What did you want?
I tell you what I didn't want. I didn't want that. I wanted something a bit better than that.
Leander, make it better. There you go. You heard it here. So these are kind of like they're recommended directions, right? So they're not a security setting. They don't forbid anybody from walking the other direction, but they make the way they work implementation-wise is they bias the route planning very heavily in this direction.
Yeah,
so if prisoners can go this way, they will do.
They're more likely to. That's good. I like. That's a good idea.
You can bang. So if you have this marked as the exit, for example, even if that's kind of like a long way around for them, they will tend to come out that way, and they'll tend to come in this way.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you can do the same thing for others. Means everyone else, all staff, all visitors, and so you can even do things like say, this side is for walking this direction, and this side is for walking this direction. Right?
Do prisoners obey the others?
No, prisoners only obey the prisoner direction.
So if you wanted to sort of turn that corridor, overlay it. Yeah.
You can do both. Right, so it's just two separate groupings. And so then as a result of that, you'll find that you'll find that people tend to follow that route, and you get nice separation of your crowds. If you draw it over doorways, then it kind of implicitly sets preferred entrances and exits.
Yeah, this is a very good idea. I think this is going to make a big difference.
It's a really good idea. And on big prisons, like the crowd control and the flow of your crowds can be a major factor in how quickly they can get to stuff. So it can make quite a difference. All right, that's that. That's
Good.
staff and prisoner directions. So we'll tell Leander if that wasn't clear to make the graphics better.
Yeah. Make the graphics better, Leander.
Make the graphics better, Leander.
He won't.
He doesn't know how to, I don't think.
He's a programmer.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
why he used them all then.
I think he would say that it's probably my job to figure out how to make it look better.
Yeah, he should. And to be fair, he's right. It is your job.
It's a bit mean, isn't it, to pick on random staff members who aren't actually here in this call.
Yeah, but the older I get, the more tyrannical I enjoy becoming. Because the older I get, the more detached you become from, the coalface.
Yeah.
And the less your output is useful. So you just pick on stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, and the less useful you become, I would say.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and conversely, the more money you make and the more time off you get.
Just goes fucking hand in hand.
It does,
Extreme laziness and incompetence.
Just pay him off.
Yeah. Right, so let's see. Yeah, all right, so let's talk about mutators.
Okay.
Mutators. So do you know what a mutator is?
That which mutates.
A thing. Right, so that's good. A mutator, in video game parlay, a mutator is a rule that changes the game in some weird way. Often not entirely serious. Sometimes game breaking. Sometimes making it easier. Sometimes making it harder, and so on. With me?
Yes. Yep.
So, when you create a new prison now, as well as Warden Mode, we have a new button over here that says Mutators.
Okay.
And I'm going to click on this list. Now we're into Gary's feature. This is Gary. And here is the list of mutators that we've written for the game. So every one of these mutators in this list, and it's a big list, every one of these mutators changes the game in some really interesting or weird or cool way.
Yeah, nice. This is a very big list. Did Gary do this?
Gary did everything on this list. Gary's
so
a maniac.
good. He's so fast, isn't he?
I told Gary at the start. I said, Gary, just don't go mad. We just need six or seven good mutators. Maybe extra escape mode, maybe extra violent mode.
And he's like six or seven.
No,
it's 6 or 7 categories.
Exactly. No, we need a fuck ton, is what he said. I believe was his words. So, what's a good example? These ones all add extra challenge to the game. So danger zone, the danger level of your prison is always at maximum. You're far more likely to get prisoners who are violent and lethal, and they are much more likely to get into fights. Right? That's quite a nice simple one, just makes it more fighty. And some of these overlap. Gang warfare, only gang members will arrive in your prison. Right? So every single prisoner who arrives is a gang member.
Nice.
The big house, every single prisoner is legendary. Good
luck.
I mean, yeah, that one's obvious, right?
Yeah.
So they all make the game significantly harder. You can just, if you want to, you can tick them all, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Chaos.
We've also added some that make it easier though as well, because we didn't just want to make the game harder or stupid. So super guards make your guards the cream of the crop. They're bigger, they're stronger, faster. You can turn off violent prisoners. You can turn off escape tunnels, right? You can just say absolutely no escape tunnels, right? And escape tunnels won't be a thing in your prison.
Yeah.
I don't know, sort of spectral staff. See, Gary's there's an odd sense of humour in Gary. He just adds this entrance called spectral staff that says your staff members can walk through walls, which is kind of an amazing ability.
Yeah.
So mutators are not always serious, They're not always sensible. I mean, it connects up. So Warden Mode and escape mode, for example, both completely connect up with mutators as well. So you could play an escape mode where every prisoner was a gang member.
Right.
Or you could play a Warden Mode where there's an opposites for no tunnels somewhere. Let's think where it is. Where is it? One of these makes your prisoners far more likely to dig escape tunnels, for example. Get me out of here. This is it. Prisoners are far more likely to try and dig their way out of your prison, removing any usual limits on escape tunnels. So if you want a full-on great escape experience, with tunnels everywhere constantly, then that's the one.
Right.
So, yes, no violent prisoners, no tunnels, fast deliveries. Changing the rules. That's a good group. Change the basic rules of the game. everyone in your prison walks twice as fast.
Yeah, okay.
It's quite a handy one, actually, because sometimes people build prisons that are so big that prisoners can't actually get around in time.
Yeah.
You know, it takes them like 45 minutes to get somewhere, and they've only got an hour to actually do anything. You can't pause the game. Old school intake.
Yeah, what's old school intake? So like Biggie and Tupac.
Nice. No, it's back in the day. If you can think back to like Alpha 1 in the early days, intake was very simple. You simply got between 8 and 20 prisoners every day, whether you wanted them or not. So it's back to that. You just get busloads of prisoners every day.
Okay, I like that.
It's like a pressure cooker mode, you know. Something different. These are the ones that are like ridiculous. Yeah, these are just ridiculous. It's the only way to describe them. So big head mode. I mean, big
I want to see it.
Big head mode has to be seen to be believed.
I want to see
really.
it. I want to see it.
Let's see. Big head mode. I mean, I've got to be honest with you. I said to Gary, why are you putting big head mode in the game? I mean, is that really a sensible? Of all the things that you could do, is that really what you want to spend your time on? I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure whether it makes the job easier for snipers. You know, yeah, that's it. That's what big mode does. You know, it doesn't.
Yeah, brilliant.
I think it's some sort of tradition. You know, in the world of mutators.
Yeah. It's always big head mode.
I mean, how are you meant to take these gang members seriously when they're? I see that their gang tattoo doesn't actually scale with their head size. If you don't, so his gang tattoo is like over one eye now, rather than over his entire head. Okay.
Finish it one day, folks.
Yeah. Where were we? Mutators. So that was big head mode. Endless Winter is an extra challenge, but it's kind of silly as well. So it's like your prison is set in a Siberian wasteland, you know. So it's permanently snowing, permanently sub-zero temperatures outside, and your prisoners can die of exposure if they get too cold.
I like it. I like it.
So you have to spend a lot of effort working on heating and limiting how much time they spend outside. Nature conservation zone means that there's local conservation laws. That means you can't cut down any of the trees. So, yeah.
That's brilliant.
You just have to build around all your trees, right? So if you create a new prison and you have generate forests turned on, and you go to mutators and turn on nature conservation zone, there's another one as well called wild growth that says trees can spread and grow much faster than normal.
It's Jumanji.
Yeah, so if I combine the two together, we didn't get that many trees this time. So these trees are invincible, right?
Right.
They're not invincible, that's not true. You can burn them down, right? If you can conspire to burn them down, then they'll go away. But otherwise, you are not allowed to destroy them or dig them up.
I like that. That's nice. It's going to be nice.
Yeah, so your prison just has to kind of like... You just have to work around them. I mean, they're just in the way, and there's nothing you can do about it. So the other one that I turned on, wild growth, causes new trees to grow constantly. So you'll see there's new tree saplings starting to spring up here. So they are not covered by the conservation laws, right? So,
so you can chop those bad boys down.
You can chop those ones, but you kind of have to, because the original ones that they're spawning from are invincible. So you'll always have this problem of your trees filling up. So any areas that you don't build on and don't colonize will rapidly become full of forest, which is a little bit of a fire risk, but also a good source of wood and lumber and things like that for your workshops. So you know how these like one of the things like with these mutators is that they sort of stack. You know, they stack in weird ways.
Yeah.
Like if you combine different ones together. So that's another one. Burn the dead. So
what is burn the dead?
Burn the dead. Anyone killed in your prison spontaneously bursts into flames.
Gary's.
I don't know why. It's just this is what Gary does. I mean, this is Gary's strength. I think, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
No contraband limits. Removes limits on the types of contrabands. Guns, maps, clipboards. So your prisoners can bring contraband in always, and they can throw contraband over the walls always. But they're not allowed to do that with like machine guns or shotguns or anything crazy like that. Well, now they are. If you take that one. All right, still with me?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking there are some serious modifications now, like night in the snow,
Yeah,
only gang members, no limits on contraband,
yeah, right. Permanent.
fill your boots.
Yeah, one of them was permanent night, wasn't it? What did you see that? There it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
permanent night. No contraband limits.
yeah.
Gang warfare. Acid rain. Causes rain and snow to damage any prisoners who are outside. Endless winter. So your Siberian desert,
Yeah.
Siberian wasteland, permanent
It's like
nighttime.
your North Pole, exactly. Your North
Yeah.
Pole prison, which is probably where you would send your badass gang leaders.
Yeah. And machine guns being thrown over the walls and brought in as contraband. Extra reputations. I know from talking to Gary that this one contains within it a whole wealth of weird and wonderful surprises. So basically, prisoners have got a bunch of extra reputations that give them new abilities. And there's like a whole set. There's like 10 extra reputations just in that one setting.
Right.
And I had to tell Gary to take some of them out because they were preposterous. I mean, preposterous. Right. But a good example would be pickpockets, right? So your prisoners become extra skilled at pickpocketing. So whenever they're near a guard, so they can pickpocket keys and things like that, and just causes just absolute chaos within your prison. So there we go. So there's the list of mutators. If you're feeling adventurous, you can click on this random button, right?
Yeah, okay.
And the screen goes away, so you can't see which ones are turned.
You don't know what you've got.
So you don't actually know what's been turned on. You can look if you want to, right? Or you don't. You don't have to. It's up to you, right? Oh my God, Jesus.
Bugs.
Yeah. No, you're allowed to look if you want to. But if you're a maniac and you just want to say mutators and turn on a load of them, then you go for it. You know. And then if you combine that with Warden Mode, and then you'll be in that prison in person, walking around experiencing it in first person.
Right.
Or third person. All right, so that is
nice.
That is our Update 13 feature list.
There you go, everybody. So, that's everything from us for this time. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy playing our update. Spread the word about Prison Architect. What else have I got to tell you? The tablet version of PA keeps going from strength to strength. So if you've not already jumped in, please do. Have a fantastic Christmas, and we will be back in 2018.